and that includes things going wrong. So the Meteor was used to develop another great British machine, the ejector seat. A challenge that the Martin Baker Company had been working on for some time. The challenge was to eject a man and his seat, combined weight of, say, 200 kilograms, clear of the cockpit in a target time of under 4 seconds. The simplest solution was to fire the chair vertically through the canopy like a giant bullet from a gun. Bang! Unfortunately, shooting 200 kilograms fast enough required an explosive force that would subject the pilot to 300 times gravity, 300 G. In experiments, Martin Baker calculated the human spine could only handle a maximum of 21 G. So they developed an ingenious solution that fired the ejector seat more gradually. Pull these two handles here, and the first charge here is triggered, bang, and this gives you your initial push. The blast gases pass down here to these other two charges, bang, bang, which gets you up to full speed. And reduces the maximum G-force to 21 G. But even with this gradual push, your spine could still be compressed by up to 1.5 inches. This is 70-year-old ex-RAF pilot Stan Hodgkins, who's been flying Meteors since 1988. So here we are, Stan, at the Meteor. Back in the day, apart from speed, what were the main differences that pilots would have experienced going from props to jets?
Oh, this is a beautiful ride. Taxiing is like a Rolls-Royce. It's got wonderful soft undercarriage, and the engines are remote from the cockpit, and you can hardly hear them.
There you go, Stan. Today, Stan's taking to the skies in this stunning 1952 night-fighting Meteor to give me my own private jet flypast. In August 1944, Meteors finally saw action against one of Hitler's super weapons, the robotic V-1 flying bomb. The new high-speed jet fighters were the only British aircraft fast enough to catch up with the V-1, destroying 14 in the final stages of the war. In the 1940s, it must have looked totally insane. Where's the propeller? A fantastic machine, and this was just the beginning. Thanks to the Gloucester Meteor and Whittle's jet engines, Britain would soon lead the world into the jet age. More than any other invention of the 1940s, this machine changed the way we live today. On the 8th of May, 1945, Britain celebrated victory in Europe. There was dancing in the streets. The process of rebuilding Britain and rebuilding lives began. There was a spirit of fun and adventure in the air. And even Britain's engineers were getting in the mood. In 1947, David Brown, with his tractors selling well, saw an advert in the Times for a struggling high-class motor business. Agnes, love, get me the bank manager on the phone, will you, dear? Great. And so he decided, in his own words, to have a bit of fun, and splashed out £20,000 to buy the company. So what was the name of the clapped-out car manufacturer? It was none other than Aston Martin. This was the prototype sports car he inherited and gave his initials to, the David Brown, or DB1. Unfortunately, it wasn't much cop. It was underpowered, overpriced, and, at least in its standard four-seater form, too slow to win any races. Agnes, love. So DB called the bank manager again. Ah, now this looks a bit more like it. the DB2.
Oh yeah, it's lusty. Lusty, lusty, lusty lady, this one. Woof. But the DB2's performance didn't come cheap. In fact, to achieve it, David Brown had to spend a lot more money.
Brown had heard that the legendary W.O. Bentley had recently designed a new engine for a company called Lagonda. Bentley's design produced more power without the need for a bigger engine, thanks to its double overhead camshafts. Here we have a camshaft. Now, as this spins, these cams here open and close the engine valves, allowing the fuel-air mixture in and the exhaust gases out. In W.O. Bentley's Lagonda engine, there were two camshafts. One under here, opening and closing the inlet valves, allowing the fuel-air mixture in, and one under here, opening and closing the exhaust valves, allowing the exhaust gases out. With this setup, the engine can breathe more freely, which boosts power and performance. David Brown was so impressed with the Lagonda engine, he bought the whole company. Together with an improved chassis and, of course, a top-notch gearbox, the engine gave